You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru attı. Tümer gitti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Roma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 119 of Beşiktaş International's The Black Eagles podcast. I am your host, Sinan Schwarting, coming at you live from New York City, as always, and with me again, none other than the Arkman himself, Evran Arkman. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Before we get started, I have important news, everybody. All hands on deck. This is huge. For anyone who's following us on Twitter, you've absolutely already heard about this. But stay with us regardless, because we have some actual news here. As many will know, and as I think I've mentioned on air even, we're going to be interviewing a friend of the Beşiktaş International, friend of the podcast, Mohamed Aminu. He is running a small academy. I believe, Evran, how many sides do they have? Was it 2 or 3?
I think they have like a few youth sides, like U17, U16, U15. I think they have like the senior team and a reserve team.
Yeah, a few squads. So the exciting thing about the academy itself is that it is called the Beşiktaş JK Berlin Academy of Accra. Accra being the city in Ghana where they are located. And so, yeah, Mohamed is a big fan of Beşiktaş. I don't know where the Berlin comes from. I'll ask him, obviously. But yeah, so he's going to be coming on air, and we're going to do a podcast, a little interview. This is after the season ends, sort of probably in the episode right after. And so he's going to give us all the information. But so meanwhile, what we're doing is we're trying to raise money. They need kits, socks, shorts, the whole 9 yards, if you will. So we're trying to help raise money to get that to them. And it's a nice chance for our listeners to do some good. You know, everyone's putting out the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Now you can put some action to those words, if you will. Help some kids in Africa. That's a nice thing to do, right? But yeah, and furthermore, who knows? You might even be helping Beşiktaş. If this academy develops, his goal is to send these kids to Beşiktaş. So it'd be great to have some Ghanaian youths to help foster the next generation of Beşiktaş, especially since we're going to be looking for gems to unearth, I think, in the next few years, given our financial restraint. Evran, maybe you'll be a starting central midfielder. And if your playing career doesn't pan out, we'd like to send you to Accra. You can help coach these kids. But yeah, everyone, please donate. There's links on our Twitter. Give some money. And here's the thing. There's some fancy news. And this is what we're announcing today. So every $5 donation gets you one raffle ticket, which you can then, what we're doing is this first round, all of the raffle tickets are going to go to a match-worn Mohamed El Neni, our third kit. I forget the match that it was worn in, but we have pictures on the website and everything. Again, look for all that stuff on Twitter. I'll put information on our sort of description for the podcast. Yeah, you can do something fun, you can do something nice, and you might win a Mohamed El Neni match-worn kit. Please do donate, and again, for every $5 that you donate, you will get one raffle ticket. So if you donate $1,000, you'll probably win the jersey. But yeah, you could also donate like $10, and you'll still have a pretty decent shot at it. It's not like we're racking in the donations yet. But this is also my first formal announcement for this whole project. Stay tuned for more on Mohamed Aminu. Please donate some money. Help us out. Help us do some good. And maybe, again, like I said, help Beşiktaş long term, because who knows what these kids can do. But yeah, stay tuned for all of that, and look out for the link in the description for this episode for more. Meanwhile, let's talk some football. This week we had a huge match, so let's get into it. As we left things off last, we were in a better mood. We'd come off of a victorious match against Kasim Pasha. I guess I'm stealing the thunder. Let me give you a chance to shine here a little bit, everyone. Tell us about where we left things off last. Like what led up to this match this week?
I guess the previous week we were just basically had the rerun, because after we lost points last week, everyone lost points again. So we had another chance to get back into fourth place, which we did. And then going into this game, it was a chance to go potentially into third. Before us, Galatasaray had already lost Ankara Gücü. So that was like I was like, woo woo. So they were already guaranteed to be behind us regardless of what we did. And
additionally, let's cover that first. So additionally behind us, some pressure was alleviated / the opportunity to create even more space because everyone.
Yeah, because there was 3 simultaneous games. So that was the 2 simultaneous games during our games was Alanya against Antalya, and then Fenerbahce versus Sivas. So there was like looking pretty good, I guess, if we want to spoil what happened. But Alanya ended up losing. And then Fenerbahce ended up losing to Sivas, which all in all would mean we were guaranteed fourth place, but were unable to catch up to Sivas regardless of what happened this game.
That's right. But, I mean, so it was like no matter what happened in that match, there would always be a sort of silver lining. And in this case, the silver lining is that Fener could not catch us, A, and B, should we manage a result against Yeni Malatya, we'd be creating some significant space between us.
Yeah.
So now we'd have the chance with the win to go 6 points up on them and 4 points up on Galatasaray, right? So lots of nice opportunities with this win. So it was still a big result. Not to mention, obviously, being now 4 points behind Sivas because they beat Fener. We needed to win so that we could still be right back within a single point of them and hopefully in with a shout to pass them should they slip up in the final 2 remaining matches, right?
Yeah.
So that's what led us up to this match. And so let's talk lineups. Again, I'll hand you the mic, Evran. Tell us a little bit about what we saw, and just to kind of briefly review the lineup itself. Ersin was in the goal, Gökhan Gönül on the right side, Domagoj and Ruiz in the middle, Caner on the left of the side of the defense, El Neni and Necip in the back of the midfield with Diaby behind Tyler Boyd behind our striker Diaby, and Nkudu on the left side and Jermaine Lens on the right. So what was up with that? Why the changes? What were the changes, etc.?
I guess the only real change was Vida in for Rocco from last week, because the rest was due to lack of player selection or lack of available players. Nkudu came back from injury. And then we only brought 18 players this week. It was basically the entire bench. The only foreigner was Rocco. And then Güven did not make a start after his diving header from last weekend, but it was kind of just what we expected. Not a lot of players. Boateng got hurt somehow, but he should be back for next game. And Burak was out injured, who should also be back. Thibaut was suspended, and then Lajet and Umut is still out with COVID.
we were certain that Boateng would star in this match, given we needed him to, A, and B, he was coming off. He's been having a positive impact in his limited appearances. So we were kind of. It seemed a safe assumption he'd start and get significant playing time. But so yeah, unfortunately, there's some sort of mysterious midweek training exercise that I never really saw much explanation for. But, what about Yeni Malatya? And you can do a brief analysis of them.
I think it was the exact same lineup that won at Sivas. I guess the most notable name is Gökhan Töre on the right wing. We know him. Umut Bulut, old man up top. I think they have the two Moroccan fullbacks who have been pretty, or not Moroccan, excuse me. One Moroccan, Chebak, and Egyptian Hafez, who have been pretty decent in the Turkish league at their time here. And then Afriya Aqua, who used to be a semi-big name in the Serie A, or showed some promise back in the day. And then, there's a lot of foreigners.
Farnole, I like their keeper.
Yeah, and they also sold Bifuma mid-season, or mid-Corona, to China. So, if you were wondering where he was, he kind of scored a brace on us last time, if you remember.
So yeah, good riddance to him. I'm glad we didn't miss him this week. That's for sure. But yeah, so anything sort of out of the ordinary there, or anything interesting?
No,
not really.
Just the typical. They had Fofana on the bench, but he hasn't really been playing. It was just a very typical Malatya 11.
Yes. So the lineups were looking good, looking complete. Actually, not even really. We didn't even have like a full bench, but whatever. And so that's how the match would start. And so I don't know what anybody had been anticipating from this match. It certainly would never be pretty. One thing I'll say is, we've talked a lot, everyone's talked a lot about all of the injuries that Galatasaray has suffered. And meanwhile, us over here, right? I think, inarguably, Adem Ljajic is our best player.
Yeah.
Would you agree? And he's injured. Burak Yilmaz is probably our second best player. Would you agree?
Definitely our best goal scorer. Something like so. But I guess there's not really too many other players to pick from. I guess Vida, maybe.
Maybe Vida, and let's not forget that he didn't play for 2 matches there in that stretch. Then probably I'd say Atiba, also not playing in the last match because of a suspension. Then the next guy up would probably be maybe one of the newer guys, Nkudu, I guess, right? He was missing for a number of those matches as well. So we have really been without a number of those guys throughout this entire stretch. So I some credit has to go to Sergen there. We've sort of bagged on him a bit in recent episodes. But that really is something positive to speak of, I think we could say. But so yeah, this match was ugly. What do you have to say about the early goings on, Evron?
I think we had one shot in the first half. I think Malatya had the best of the chances. It's not that there was a plethora of those, but Gökhan Töre was looking pretty decent. I think he created the best chance for Malatya in that first half, which Umut Bulut kind of scooped over the bar.
Scooped is a kind way of saying just absolutely.
And then
terrible. He had a wide open net. I don't even know how he skied that. That was an impossible angle.
Yeah, Ruby's slid in front of him, and I guess he probably could have just taken a touch and then shot it, but he tried to shoot it off balance, and then Ruiz was so he couldn't just pass it low because Ruiz in front of him, so he had to get a little bit of height on it, and then he just I don't even know what he did. But
Ruiz has actually had a couple of good games in a row. Now you mentioned that. I remember him saving one off the line that he got past Ersin.
Yeah, and then we had one shot from distance from Nkudu that was pretty good.
Yeah, forced a nice long lengthwise diving save from Farnole.
Yeah, but nothing crazy. That was basically the first half.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. No, I would agree that Yeni Malatya probably had the more frightening chances that half. But yeah, I mean, credit to the defense. They stood stout. And I don't know why I was nervous just because I knew how big the match was, but I never was like scared in any moment. You know, our D is actually kind of settling late. It's a little late to be doing that, you know, with 2 matches left now. But anyway, that halftime, that was it. 0-0, nothing to speak of. One substitution made, interesting one. Guven Yalchin came on for Germain Lenz. What'd you think of that?
I did not expect. I expected like Diaby to come off.
Yeah,
I didn't think Lenz was good, but Diaby just sucked.
Diaby, I think he may have had his worst half.
Yeah, I have some stats at the end for Diaby's performance.
Nice. Yeah, save that for the stat factor, whatever we call that section. But yeah, terrible match. I was shocked that he. I mean, I don't want to do any spoiling here, but yeah, didn't come out here.
Yeah, this was his chance at striker, which he did not show well for.
No, he did not. Yeah, I mean, nobody did offensively, perhaps you could argue, but I don't know. You know, you don't even know if maybe someone wasn't having a particularly bad match, but like if the other, like when so many pieces aren't working, who really knows? But certainly he was the main culprit.
Yeah, I think we had one chance in that first half. Like we were about to like their center back just gave the ball away, and we had like a 2-on-2 counter. Then Diaby tried to hit with his right foot, and then accidentally hit with his left foot, and whiffed the ball.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that was that was the low point for the whole. Certainly for his whole time.
Looking like a 12-year-old.
It was so bad.
Pretty bad.
And it was like embarrassing. I imagine sort of like showing a friend who's not into Turkish football or Beşiktaş this match to like get him into it, and like, you know, them seeing that, like that would not be.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
Ugh.
This was not the game for a neutral.
No. Yeah, that was terrible. He was terrible. Expected him to come out, but he didn't. Germain Lenz also was not particularly good in this match. He's been good in his last few matches, this last stretch of matches here, but this was not an example of it. I think we could easily argue. But it would take just 7 minutes into the second half, and a penalty was awarded. Tell us. So who earned the penalty? Gökhan.
Genu. Yeah.
Tell us about it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
oh yeah, the errant. It was really the keeper just making a terrible mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was corner to the near post. As usual, Gökhan went to flick it on, but it was too high. So he didn't get to it, but then the goalie just came in and just clobbered him in the head. Not to say like it was not a foul, but it was definitely like just stupid. Like there was no reason for that to happen. You know, he's kind of got a gift of a penalty. It wasn't like we were getting to the ball anyway. And this man just punches him two-fisted punch to the back of the head.
Yeah, I mean, I think to his defense, he just missed the ball, and so Gökhan Gönül's head became the ball, basically.
Yeah. But it was
terrible though. Yeah, it was a bad miss.
Yeah, there was no reason for it. Wasn't even like.
I think of how people bag on Karius and Ersin and at some points Fabry, you know, and all the keepers we've had over the years, and I don't think I've ever seen a blunder like that out of any like that. That was pretty bad.
I mean, I've seen worse blunders, I guess, but this was definitely just like Fernando. I mean, he made 2 good saves.
No, Fernando's a pretty good keeper, honestly. Yeah, I mean that's why.
Yeah, he just kind of came out and just punched this man in the head.
You can't. I wouldn't even say he had a bad match, honestly. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he just had a
brain fart.
A little blooper. Yeah.
Brain fart. It happens. And it's, you know, that's the dangers of the trade as a keeper, I think, is when it happens, it typically doesn't, you don't get any honor out of it. But so, anyway, so the goal itself, interesting pick. So it looked like Janer and Guven Yalchin were sort of like arguing about it for a minute, about who would take it, which is weird given that Guven's like doesn't even have hair on his, whatever yet. But somehow he feels like he's going to argue with a nearly 40-year-old Janer. No, now I'm being mean. Janer's like barely 30 actually, but he thinks he's going to argue with him. But Janer anyway steps up to take the kick. He does it.
Yeah,
and
perfect penalty.
Tell us what's up.
Yeah, it wasn't like one of those when he fakes out the keeper type thing. He just powered it side netting. I mean, not a perfect type, but it was better than Burak's penalties. So for me, that
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, honestly, it was one of those shots where, like, if the keeper goes the right way, you're like, "Oh my god, that was a terrible penalty," But when you get lucky, but that's really all what penalties are about. So he must have done something to get him to go the way, whatever it was. But yeah, it worked. Tidily put away. Beşiktaş has the lead. 52nd minute. 58th minute. Kjartansson comes in for Robin Yalchin, who I was surprised plays for Yeni Malatya. He came from, was it like English lower divisions or something? Where did Robin Yalchin? Germany. Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's not that exotic. That's a fairly typical story then, isn't it? But he had a bit of a profile.
Yeah, he's the Beşiktaş fan, I believe.
Did he not have a bit of a profile at some point, like for a prospect?
I mean, he used to play for the German youth national teams way back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a pretty long time ago. Yeah, he's I guess he's a qualified bust at this point.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
26.
26. Yeah, that's not gonna. He played for like Dusseldorf or something. I can't even remember. Stuttgart. So, sorry, Germans, if I'm not making fun of your language or anything. I just suck at saying words in it, apparently. So yeah, Kjartansson came in, and he would be, I don't know if you could say influential. I suppose he stood out because of the name, and he's like a fairly towering fella. Also into the match. This is weird. So a guy named Donald came out, and a guy named Walter came in. So it's very easy to pronounce names there. Aqua left the match in the 73rd minute. So there's like nothing happening here. Just lots of sub for Ildiz. Yildirim came out for Ndiashimie. Umut Bulut left for Fofana, who I'm surprised it took him that long to get on the match. Nkudu got himself a yellow card in the 80th minute. I guess first, before we get to the yellow card, anything happened between the penalty and that yellow card I think you want to mention?
It was Malatya created a few chances.
They did,
Arslan made one really, really nice save, I would say. Reaction off the header to keep it at 1-0.
Yeah.
And then I think Malatya kind of just fluffed a couple chances.
He also made, we were talking about this pre-episode, so for us it's a repeat, but he also made a nice save on not a shot, but a cross that deflected off of maybe Gökhan Gönül, someone on the right side. And it would have maybe floated into the top corner of the goal, but he cleverly dove up and sorry, I gotta let my cat out, and saved the team there. Yeah, it is one of those things where a single goal and this game's ending in a draw, because this was a kind of ugly stalemate. Frankly.
There's one other thing we forgot. Right after our goal, Juven had a great chance to turn a sister. This is like 2 minutes after we scored. He took the ball off of the center back Mina.
Yeah, everything he did was excellent until the last.
Yeah, he dribbles from like the left side to go into the box to cut in, and he has like two guys on him, and on the right side of the box was Diaby chilling. So he's like, oh, he's just gonna square it across, and Diaby might screw this up, but that'd be like that's 100% goal chance. Instead of Juven trying to go for like a cheeky tight angle with pressure shot, and he takes a great effort, but it's just from too tight of an angle. And Farnold still saves it, even though it's going to the top corner.
Yeah, I mean, he forced the somewhat athletic save, but it's still, the angle was all there for Farnold. It was a selfish play, and it was a stupid play. And a lot of people are giving Guven Yalchin a lot of credit nowadays because he's clearly turned a page as far as like caring again. He's putting effort in, which is great. We both joked about this on Twitter with each other that I think my final joke was something. It's a shame that our fan base thinks that a good performance of his is one where he just shows that he cares rather than him actually playing well. And that's, I think, where I'll end on that. But yeah, so anyway, yellow card. This is a bad yellow card too, because so in the 80th minute he's made it this far in, and this yellow card suspends him for the next match, which is a derby, of course, against Fener. What do you think of this card, Evron?
It didn't really need to happen. He kind of like lost the ball.
Was it definitely a yellow card? Did he definitely earn?
I mean, he stepped on the dude's like ankle foot, so.
So yes, I'm taking that as a yes.
Yeah. It was just like kind of needless. It wasn't like even that aggressive. It was just kind of like.
It was just stupid. Yeah, exactly. And it's like a late match foul. I mean, if we're gonna be 100% honest, given that he were protecting him, like Sergen Yalchin might have subbed him out if knowing that he's on
he did like
that.
3 minutes later. So.
And then he takes him out. I think it's punishment for the stupid foul, which fine. But on the other hand, you might as well let him tire himself out since we're not going to see him on next week Sunday. But so yeah, he would come out in the 84th minute, 4 minutes later. For Kartal, Kaida, Yilmaz. It's always fascinating to me how the announcers settle on like a guy's name. That they're gonna call, that he'll be called for probably the next 20 years of his life. And it's interesting that they went for Kaida. They kept calling him Kaida, and like really the guy like between Yilmaz, which is a pretty common surname in Turkey, and Kartal, which is like the perfect Beşiktaş name. Like, why would you not be saying Kartal at every chance you have the opportunity to? Instead, they go with Kaida. That was a poor choice stylistically, I would say, by the announcer, and that's probably gonna, like I said, stick for the next 20 years. But, unless another announcer is bold in the coming weeks, let's just hope for it. Yellow card for Victor Ruiz, also another stupid one. That wasn't like flagrant, but was probably very worthy of a yellow card. Victor Ruiz, 85th minute. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so now he's 1 yellow away from a suspension. So if he gets one against Fener, he will not play last game. But basically, kind of like a high ball. Probably should have headed it. Instead, he just puts his foot up like right next to the striker's head.
Yeah, easy, dangerous play.
Like not like a leaping. Like it was just like he was just standing there and just like lifted his leg all the way.
All the way to his head. Yeah, it was really dumb. In fact, I think it was probably dumber than Nkudu's yellow.
Yeah, I mean,
they're both.
And also gave away a dangerous free kick, but at least he's not suspended for the Fener game.
Yeah, that's important. Although he might be suspended for against that at this rate. Finally, in the second minute of extra time, sort of a weird. I don't know if this was necessary, but Enzo Rocco came in the game for Diaby. So finally, he takes Diaby out in the second minute of extra time, in probably what is his worst match. Certainly as a Beşiktaş player, and I hope for his sake as a professional footballer. But so yeah, that's how the match would end. Enzo Rocco, as far as grades go, would get an incomplete because I do not recall him doing a single thing out there. How many minutes of extra time were there in the end? Do you know?
6.
So he got 4 minutes of garbage time, but I don't remember anything he did. But we were playing with a lot of defenders out there, I guess. But yeah, so that's how it would end. 0-1. Beşiktaş picking up a very important, grinded out 3 points on the road late in the season. Really the type of 3 points that in a championship contending season you'd say, oh, that's sometimes you got to win them like this, And I guess
it's a cliche.
Right? I guess in this modified run, since we're all just competing for third place, this was the equivalent of that. We grounded out lots of guys injured, 5 guys out, I believe. So yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have a bench. We only had 7 on the bench.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, 5 guys out. I don't even know if I'm including Umut Nair because he's sort of a third striker anyway. But yeah, I mean, we were hurting, and so this was a really important win. Where should we go? All right, let's do stats. Yeah, let's tell us what happened here, Evron.
Yeah, we did not have a lot of chances in this game. We had 6 shots in total. to Malatyaspo's 15. However, even though they had 10 chances to our 2 in terms of actual denomination of chances, we had a slight advantage on the XG due to our penalty. And they didn't really create more than one huge chance. They had a lot of just dinky shots around the box. And then possession wise, we were at 54% to 46. Nothing crazy. 80% pass success, which is pretty low, I would say, for us.
Yeah, I mean, certainly those possession numbers are insanely low. I think that might be our lowest of the year.
No, we had some really low ones with Avcı. I think one game we had 40% or 30%.
With Avcı we had a couple counter-attacking matches. That was weird. Super weird.
I guess I'll go to advanced real quick. There's not really much to say, but we had 1.32 XG, and 0.9 is from the penalty. Malatyaspo had 1.1. But I would say we would have had more if you guys decided to pass to Diaby, because XG margin is where the shot was taken from, not where the chance. That's how they measure the quality of the chance. So it measures Güven's actual decision to take that shot, not you would say, if he passed the ball, that's 100% goal or huge goal chance. But since he shot from that tight angle, the XG is much lower. It's 0.15 instead of, we probably would have had a 0.67, which would have definitely skewed our numbers much higher. Then if the pass map is really just the strikers did not work. Boyd and Diaby were receiving the ball deeper than Kudu and Lens, so it kind of turned into having 2 attacking mids instead of 2 strikers. Whatever the hell that was supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, so
got some individual.
What do you think? What do you think of Boyd's performance out there? I mean, we've talked about Diaby. Obviously, neither of us were excited by it.
I mean, I think Boyd he tried his best. He was very hardworking. I think that's kind of it's been his stereotype as well. I say he got fouled 5 times. He entered 17 duels, won 9 of them, which is decent. Completed 3 out of 5 dribbles, but I don't think he was at any point looked like he was gonna win the game for us. But I think especially when we were holding on to the game, there was a lot of times he would win the ball, get fouled.
Yeah.
Try to push. So I think it was it was a professional performance. He did better than probably the other attackers in that case, who were really just kind of going along with the flow.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think his first half was particularly slappy, but his second half performance, he really did settle into the match, just as you said, and was really helping. Get some whistles and stuff like that. Yeah, he was good. I mean, how about this? Let's just go down the lineup this week rather than picking out the best and the worst and whatever, because I think it's pretty obvious. The best could only be Ersin, and the worst is obviously Diaby, and we've pretty much already spelled it out. So let's start with Ersin, since for me, he's the man of the match. Would you go with that?
I mean, I guess there's really no one else who really did great. I mean, John scored a goal, but it was a penalty.
Yeah, and he was also pretty bad offensively, which is weird. He was better defensively than he was offensively in this match, which is rare for John.
Ersin didn't have a high volume of saves, but I think he was kind of flawless. So
yeah, and again, there's the one that wouldn't count as a save, but he's probably saved the goal anyway by being heads up. I think he had 4 saves officially, which is not bad. He was good, and he showed what I liked most of all was his aerial dominance, and even the announcer in the match for BNUSA's guy was sort of very impressed by his aerial control. He really has a way of domineering in the box. That's hopeful.
I think overall he was good, so no complaint with that man of the match claim.
Gökhan Gönül, what did you think of his match?
Typical. I mean, considering we thought he would not even play, I think he was, we had a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Not really memorable because the game was so boring, but
yeah, he was a little error prone.
He did his job.
still, like, his touch is a little funky. Like, I don't know, he seems a little out of it, but I think he might be dogged by a little injury or something.
Yeah.
Vida, I thought was really solid in this match.
Yeah, I'm glad he came back to his starting spot.
Yeah, especially to play as well as he did. He could have been a man of the match even. You know, I think in a match where it's 1-0 and you win on a penalty, you can probably look to a defender for man of the match. So it's probably Ersin or Vida. Victor Ruiz.
Yeah, I think Ersin made like that one, like that's like that moments that stick out, like as like those big defensive plays. I think Ersin had more of those.
For sure, yeah. That's why I gave it to him. Victor Ruiz, what are your thoughts?
Thought he was decent again.
I liked his.
Not as good as.
I liked how communicative he is. He really yells a lot now. He was even sort of steering Vida around, which, you know, for someone who's been around the team less than him, was sort of promising. I like it. Any final thoughts on Victor Ruiz?
No, just hope next week is a good game for him. Because I think this game, you know, with Umut Bullets is a little bit different than
than Morik or
what Federer has to offer. And
yeah.
Yeah.
John, we already talked about Necip. I thought his touch was terrible as always. Plank of wood, but at the same time, he's got that engine, and he sort of motored in and made a few sort of defensive stops, which is what you need in a match like this. I don't know. Did what he had to do.
Yeah. Statistically, he was okay. Visually, it's almost appalling to watch him try to. I call him Necip Pirlo as a joke, but it's just awful. But he really thinks he's Pirlo. But
He's the man.
I mean, he got the job done. He didn't screw us over. So
yeah, did he? He didn't even get a card, man.
Yeah, I know.
El Neni. So the plaudits were in. You know, most of the community gave him man of the match. What are your thoughts on that, everyone?
I mean, I don't think he gave us anything going forward again. I think he just did his job defensively.
He missed a shot. I mean, it was a volley, but it was sort of point blank. It was a relatively tough angle, but he just skied it. So
yeah, I mean, typical Nani game, 0 chances created, 90% pass accuracy, mostly to the center backs. He did okay. It's not like I want his loan to be renewed as much seeing this.
No.
But I think, you know, it's not like we can say he has to be taken out of the lineup or something.
Sure.
This is what we got for now.
Yeah,
So.
we'll weather the storm. Which is what probably the best metaphor for where we are. We're weathering the storm for these last 2 matches, hopefully winning, but you really don't know. Boyd, we talked about. Nkudu, not his best match. Maybe
I don't even remember him playing, except he had that one shot in the yellow card.
Yeah, that's why I'm almost not even that sad about him not being available. I think we'll be all right somehow. Lens, meh performance, got taken out at the half. So
yeah, I mean, I think maybe he should get more time.
Yeah, I don't think he deserved to come out of all the guys out there. And finally, Diaby, we already talked about him. Subs, Gouven.
I got some stats for Diaby.
Oh yeah, well yeah, he didn't do it in the stats section. Tell us what's the deal with him?
Yeah, so he entered 12 duels, won 1. And that only duel he won was a header.
Oh my god.
He lost the ball the most times in the game, which was 5 times. He committed 2 fouls. He was fouled 0 times.
Not to mention the Bush League giveaway we talked about earlier.
Yeah, 0 chances created, 0 shots. I guess he could have maybe scored a goal.
Yeah, how funny would that have been?
Passed the ball. But yeah, garbage performance. I think Gouven had a similar, I guess. Gouven actually entered 12 duels and won 3. Crashed, committed 5 fouls. So I would say if you listen to the podcast, as I may have said to you before, and all he did was crash into people. So.
Yeah, so at least he was throwing his body around here. No, yeah, people are so excited because he cares again. Which, hell, I guess, considering what we've seen of him this season, that's something to be positive about. Kartal Kaida Yilmaz, what do you think about him?
He didn't look as confident as other games, but I think there was 1 or 2 moments where he looked pretty good, but didn't do anything crazy. It was like 10 minutes he played.
What I liked about him, and it was similar to how I felt about Ridvan the match after his really good one, was that he didn't look sharp. He looked nervous even. I mean, it was a pretty big moment, to be fair. The very end of a really important match that we have to win. We're hanging on to a 1-0 victory at that time. But yeah, he, like, even on the passes that were a little sloppy and he gave away, he would track back and make sure to fix the mistakes. That he was very thorough in that, which I appreciated.
Yeah, I think he lost the ball once and won it right back.
I think he made it even twice, once on a dribble and once on a pass. And at both times he made sure that he was not responsible for giving up a goal, which, that's really, in a sense, the best you can hope for from a young kid, especially. See a strong sense of responsibility. Enzo Rocco, we said, didn't really do anything. So finally, what were your thoughts on Sergei Yalchin this match? Roster selection, etc.
I mean, I don't really think there's much to say. I mean, we really didn't have much of a bench. Maybe I would have liked to have seen Carthol play, but he chose a defensive approach. I think maybe subbing out Lens was probably the only wonky decision he made. Instead of Diaby, because Diaby sucked. But
Diaby was terrible. But yeah, to be fair, we have no one up front. Even Umut Nair is not available because of the freaking Rona. Yeah, that was to his credit. He really is scrapping out these wins despite all of the crazy amounts of guys that are missing. And when you look at Galatasaray, right, you can see a team where that's not happening. So credit to him in that regard. It's weird. He's clearly a good coach in a way. You see when things get a little bit hectic, the team switches into a mode where they're doing one-touch passes and creating triangles and stuff. And it's like, damn, all right. These guys, there's something that they're falling back on when things get a little hectic. And it's like, wow, that suggests they're being well coached. Something in training, tactically, whatever. But the problem is that you can be a good coach, but not a very good evaluator of talent. And where that becomes a problem is in who you're playing, who you're subbing in and out, And I think that's where I've been skeptical of Sergen. And now that we have all these injuries, he almost doesn't even have the option to screw that up too much. So, we're just getting to see the coaching in its rawest form. What can he get out of the literally the 11 guys we have who are available to us? And so, you're seeing that he's doing okay. Hopefully and I don't think he's instilled in anyone a ton of confidence, but again, considering what we're playing with, even before the injuries, this is a sort of uniquely bad Beşiktaş squad on paper. And so then to also be down half of the starting rotation, I give him credit where it's due. Good for him, good for the team.
One more thing.
Oh yeah.
One more thing.
Yeah, give it to me.
If I think we mentioned Gökhan Töre was linked to us once in the previous, during the Corona time. So I think if he did want to come, I think he tried his best today
To make a good
for the game.
impression,
He completed the most dribbles out of anyone, 7 out of 9, which is a lot. Created the most chances, 5, and he won the most duels. Wouldn't say he was spectacular, but I think he played better than Diaby. I think we can all say that.
man, yeah.
So, not gonna say it's gonna happen, but he showed that maybe we're missing a little something in terms of depth with him gone. So I think that's my only little tidbit.
You have to consider that we could be down 2 wingers, right? Tyler Boyd's probably signed on a long term, and Nkudu is definitely signed on a long term. But Jermaine Lens is probably too rich for our blood, so to speak. I don't think we can afford him. And Diaby is very likely not going to be extended, we all hope. So we're going to need 2 wingers at the very least, at least to have 4 for next season. So if Gökhan Töre is a cheap option, we might not be able to do much better, frankly. Anything else?
Yeah. No.
Well, so let's take that out. Let's take it out there. Let's finally have a moderately short episode for a change. As always, follow us, the mothership, at Beşiktaş_INT. Follow us here, this podcast, at Eagles_podcast. Follow this man over here, the Arkman himself, at fan of BJK. And follow myself at Sir_Writes_a lot. Donate money to the Academy in Accra, folks. Get some bids in for that match-worn El Neni kit. And stay tuned for more news on that front as well. As always, got to keep supporting the team. This is a huge time for all of us. 2 matches left. Everything to play for. We didn't really talk about standings, everyone, but actually we sort of did in the preamble.
Yeah, we're 1 point behind Steve.
Yeah, we were 1 point behind Steve.
4 points ahead of
Exactly. We have a huge match upcoming against who else but Fenerbahce, all long-time rival. After that, we're going to be playing Gençler, but we'll obviously talk about that before that match comes in. What can we say besides we really need 3 points, and it's a derby match, so anything can happen. Do you have any words for us for the derby? That we anything to look out for?
Hopefully we get a lot of players back fit. We need to play better than this, I think.
Yeah, it's confirmed Boateng's back. Atiba will be back because he's not suspended. Burak is a strong possibility, I believe.
Yeah. I wish Ljajic was back. I don't know what's up with him.
Ljajic is, the Rona's got him down. We can just, I don't know, hope for the best.
Which really screwed us over because I was really hoping we'd be able to sell him for big bucks. Man gets corona.
Yeah, but I guess for anyone who wanted to keep him around, that's good news, maybe. That's terrible, though. We're talking about a guy with a nasty virus that's killing people around the world. But yes, I do imagine that complicates the sale for sure. Nonetheless, of course, stay tuned. Huge match upcoming. The match will be played on Sunday. You know what? Let me just, before we officially log out, give you the official match time and everything, as we tend to do. As always, yes. Sunday, July 19th, 2 p.m., which means, again, 9 p.m. for those of you in Turkey. Huge. Every match is the most important match of the season, which is a good sign because that means we're clinging to hopes here. We just need to turn 1 point on Sivas. They just need to slip. They're playing Gençler this week as well. Gençler is fighting for promotion, fighting to avoid relegation. So they have everything to play for. And their final match is against, who was it, everyone?
Gençler League's final match?
No, Sivas.
Oh, Göztepe.
Göztepe, who has nothing to play for, except for the fact they have not won in their brand new stadium.
Safe from relegation because they're 7 points clear. Gençler League's 4 points clear, so they're not officially safe yet.
Yeah, but Göztepe has not won in their brand new stadium yet, so that's one thing they might be able to play for, hopefully. Whatever it is, let's just hope Sivas drops. Literally, just all they need is one draw, and we're good. But we obviously have to win out, and that includes beating Fener in Vodafone Park at the very least. So, no fans anyway, but we'll be in comfortable environments. On that note, there's, of course, one last very important note that I would be remiss not to mention. Go Beşiktaş! Peace out. See you guys.
Ortada Bobo. Şimdi Bobo'nun önüne. Bobo aldı. Bobo girdi. Bobo. Bobo çok babasın. Çok harikasın. Çok güzelsin. Harika.
Beşiktaş International hopes you enjoyed this program.